panel. And thank you so much, Dr. Maghraoui, and also Professor Safir and Mr. Shrabi. And today we have 3 points for this day. This is Ashura in Iran, in Iraq, in Lebanon, and it's the Memorial Day of Imam Hussein. The second is about 100 days after presidency of Hassan Rouhani, and it's also 1,000 days after house arresting of Mir Hossein Mousavi, Mehdi Karroubi, and Zahra Rahnavard. So I'm talking about all of these things. I do not have time to say something about the first, and I try to tell you something about the second. I try to answer to this question, and this question is, in New Iran is the topic of this panel too. Question mark. New Iran. So, and also, what is the role of President Rouhani in New Iran? I'm not so optimistic with my young friend here, but also not so disappointed. I'm between these two. If we expect large change quickly in short time, I do not think so. Large change quickly in the short time. It does not happen. But the small changes gradually with a very slow speed. It's possible that small changes gradually, small speed, with these 3 elements. And big changes in long term are predictable. This is the summary of my thesis in response to this key question in Iran. I think the change has been started several years ago, as we saw in the presentation of my dear friend, Professor Safir. The change begins with the will of the change. I mean public will of change. This public will is so strong and optimistic. So if you travel to Iran, if you hear from Iranians, no, Iran is full of the hope to change. We are able to change, and we will change. I think it's the most important point. And it's the people. I think majority of Iranians, they believe that they are able to change. I do not expect revolution or rebellion. Be realistic. It's not any hope for any revolution, not any hope for rebellion, in my understanding. The evidences do not show it. It's public request of deep reform, not only very superficial reform, not short reform, it's a very deep reform. Socio-political, socio-economic, and cultural reform. I think is the demands of the majority of Iranians in this time. The first manifestation of this public request of reform could be seen in 1997. The Iranian chose Mohammad Khatami as their president. Although Mohammad Khatami tried to reform, that his attempt was not successful. Why? Because of the resistance of the hardliners. I do not want only to say only one person, but a set of persons, especially the Supreme Leader, Mr. Khamenei, and also the commanders of Revolutionary Guard, and some conservative clergy. So we have set of people, hardliners in Iran, and they are not so weak. Also, they are strong, the same as the reformists. It was the first manifestation of reform in Iran. After suspicious presidential election of 2005 and fraud election of 2009, the co-administration of Khamenei and Ahmadinejad made a lot of trouble for Iranians. I want to say, frankly, that 8 years of Ahmadinejad was not uniquely the product of his presidency. All of the issues, affairs that he had done, it was made by the plan, or at least by permission of Mr. Khamenei, the supreme leader of it. In the Friday prayers, the first Friday prayer after the election in 2009, Mr. Khamenei said a very historical statement that I prefer Ahmadinejad's policy to my 50 years friend Hashemi Rafsanjani. We supported him strongly. And in last 2 years, there was some differences between policy of Ahmadinejad and Khamenei that we do not think it was serious or it was deep. So, the Green Movement in 2009 and 2010, and it was the second manifestation of that public request that I mentioned, was suppressed by the regime. Mir Hossein Mousavi, Mehdi Karroubi, the objecting candidates at night of 2019 election, illegally became house arrested. And now it's completely, absolutely obvious that this house arresting, there was not by the rule of any court. It was by the fatwa or by the command that was issued by Mr. Khamenei, no one else. The commander, the chief police of Tehran, that he was a relative of Ahmadinejad, said this point in one of his interviews last week, that it was the order, the command of Mr. Khamenei. And if in a country after about 110 years constitution, a person can say, I can restrict your freedom out of the court, it means you are so far from the law, the governance of the law. It's the first alphabet of democracy. The wrong co-administration of Khamenei and Ahmadinejad destroyed the economy and the daily life of the citizens. I think what happened now between Iran and US is because of this point. The economy of Iran was destroyed by this administration. I do not want to say only by sanction, also by this administration. That's about President Rouhani. Presidency of Hassan Rouhani could be the third manifestation of a public request. I'm so conservative in this point. Could be the third manifestation of the public request. We should not forget that the wrong policy of 2005-2013 did not belong to Ahmadinejad solely. This corruption was the co-product of the supreme leader, the former president, and the commanders of the Revolutionary Guard. Only one side of 3 sides of this triangle was changed. One side. 2 sides will remain. If we want to think about the change, we should think about these 2 sides that will remain. Who is President Rouhani? I worked him for about 5 years in a research center in Tehran. I know him well, maybe better than many Iranians. I think he is a moderate pragmatist. He will not only the obstacle of the reform, but also facilitate some change in foreign policy, international affairs, and socio-economic issues. I mentioned 3 domains, and I can promise you that you will see some changes in these 3 domains. The first was foreign policy, the second was international affairs, so close to each other, and socio-economic issues. Yes, I think we will see some changes. For example, today, it was a news that in the time of Rouhani, nothing was expanded in nuclear issue. It's in the report, official report of the chief chair of the NPT. It's so important, no expanding at all in his time. Also, he disagrees with hardliners in cultural and socio-political affairs, including human rights and democracy, that I'm not optimistic that he will be successful in these 2 important issues. And you know, the demands of Iranian is not about nuclear issue. The main, I think, 3 main major Iranian demands is, the first one is reform in economics, destroy the economics. The second one is about democracy. The third one is about human rights. So is President Rouhani able to do something in these 3 issues or not? About the first, I think, yes. About the second and the third, I'm not so optimistic. He does not have any plan. I have 3 points here, 3 main points. Please try to criticize these 3 points. He does not have any plan for these issues, for domestic issues, the same as democracy, human rights, and the other thing related to this. Second, it's not his priority. His priority is international affairs, nuclear issue, economics. It's not the priority. Human rights and democracy were not the priority of President Rouhani until now. And the third one, and the other 2 sides of triangle of theocratic dictatorship are powerful. I do not want to say only one person. There is a system, and it's not so weak. But this theoretical dictatorship is in opposing the strong public interest and will. This public will of change will impose the government to adapt themselves to the public interest. So I think it's a very optimistic conclusion. I'm optimistic about the role of the people, Iranian citizens, but not the role of any other persons. I think Iranian will impose this interest, this public will for change to all the governments, including the supreme leader, the commanders of the Revolutionary Guard, the president, and also the judiciary power and the parliament. And I think for the middle term or long term, I'm so optimistic that yes, my question is, we will look at new Iran. Thank you.